We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What is up, San Francisco 49er faithful? I'm your man, Rich Keltz. Together, we are straight out of the Bay. What's up with everybody? We got Jay in the Bay right next to me. We got Bay Area Baller Eric right below. Man, what's cracking, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing excellent, man. Excellent. Gotta say, what's good to everybody out there. Appreciate you guys joining us. I don't know about you guys, fellas, but I'm excited. No more preseason football. We're actually going to start talking about the real games real soon, so I'm excited about that. How you doing, E?
I'm feeling good, excited to be here. You know what time it is. It's a great time of year. Week 1 is right around the corner against the Steelers. But, hey, you know, we're going to recap some of this preseason, give you some thoughts. There was a big trade that happened. So it's going to be a fun, exciting episode of Straight Out of the Bay. Happy to be here, fellas.
Man, I've already, hey, likewise to the both of y'all, man. I want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. We see you, hey, Zeus or Jesus, however you say it. My bad if I messed it up. We see you, Carcast. I got to say, yee to my man, David McNiner. We got David McNiner also with the
What's good?
There it is. There it is. And we got Raphael 562 Niners in the house saying what's up to the crew. Man, we got Brandon in the house. Yo, what's good? What's cracking? Man, who else we got up in here? We got, I don't want to mess this up, Darsh TV. Yo, Jay.
What's good?
Yeah. Hey, man, we about to get straight up into it, straight out of the Bay, because we're from the Bay. Hey, one thing I want to ask y'all, y'all born and raised in the Bay, right?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Hey, there it is. Because now I can say that, man. We're born and raised straight from the Bay, man. That's why we gave it the show. We see payo time, man. We're about to get into these topics. We're going to be cutting the show off a little bit earlier tonight. And then y'all going to hop on to the next show where we're going to do a fantasy draft live. So, hey, man, hey, we're up in here. Now we're going to hop straight into it, man. Trey Lance was traded to the Dallas mother freaking Cowboys out of all teams. For the love of God, to the Cowboys. I had mixed emotions, probably like most people. You know what I'm saying? I cannot lie. Surprisingly to myself, my first initial reaction was a little bit of relief. It was a little bit of at least they're picking one direction now. You know what? It's been a long freaking time. It's like besides Purdy's run last year, that's like probably the funnest time I've had as a 49er fan in a long time was last year when Purdy took over. And it feels like, man, the 49ers used to be so joyful for me to go to. And I can't lie, fellas, ever since I've been doing this YouTube thing and paying attention to every detail, sometimes I wish I didn't open certain doors because I have allowed myself to absorb way too much drama, and I'm kind of I got to stand on the fact that I can't let this thing like take my joy, man, all this noise, all the drama. So for me personally, I'm going to keep it lit and let it become joyful again. And it's unfortunate, the business side. I'm probably going to not even talk too much about Kyle Shanahan and whatnot, but I will say that I've completely disagreed with the whole handling of it. I'm going to say it the lightest way I could say it. I do like how Shanahan did come through and, kind of own it. You know, it feels like he owned it, I've been talking about him doing that for a long time. He owned it. It is what it is. But I will say it is the worst draft pick in NFL history. That's just my opinion. People could call it what they want, but I look at it like this. 3 first-round picks for 3 games, that's the worst in history, period. That's my take on it. Good luck, Trey Lance. It was a hell of a ride, even though we only got to see, minimal games from you. I won't say opportunities and whatnot and get into all that stuff, but I would love to hear from you guys. Hey man, it is what it is. Like my man Jay in the Bay says, unfortunately, it's a business. I think he was the first one to ever really try to just pound that on to me because I was coming through with passion, like, hold on, this shit ain't right. Years ago, and Jay was like, hey, bro, it's a business, man. Hey, but I would hey, and you're right, bro. And I'm putting those glasses on. Like I could almost care less what they say anymore. Like I just got to do it for my own freaking mental health, bro, because I'll be too invested. I'll be wanting to freaking, start a riot. I'll be wanting to go kick down doors and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, man, this is football. This is a kid's game. This used to be something I absolutely loved. And I'm going to get back to that point for me personally, purposely. But I would love to hear from you, Jay, about the Trey Lance trade.
Absolutely. But first, I got to say what's good to everybody that's in the chat, including Low Jackson, E. Kim, Pale Time, Crazy Juice, Don. Glad you guys are joining us tonight. Man, when I first heard about the trade, I definitely had mixed emotions like Keltz. Kind of happy that the distraction is over and happy that Trey Lance can have a different team where he can possibly succeed. But ever since Brock Purdy, had that great stretch, the odds for Trey Lance to regain the starting quarterback position were definitely not in his favor. The odds were definitely against Trey, and I think the odds continue to be against Trey when the Niners sign Sam Darnold. And it just sucks for Trey. It sucks that it didn't work out. But I think we can all agree that it was a bad relationship and it needed to end, and it did. And Trey requested the trade, and he did what's best for him. The Niners did what's best for them. But I was definitely questioning. I got to be honest. I was definitely questioning my 49er fandom. Like when that trade happened, I was just I was crushed. I mean, we hadn't drafted a quarterback that high since Alex Smith. I was like in high school when we drafted Alex Smith. So to see Trey get drafted, we trade the picks. It didn't work out. Definitely crushed. I wish Shanahan would have given Lance. Well, according to Shanahan, he gave him every opportunity. So it's unfortunate that Trey, I guess, didn't take hold of that opportunity and kick the door down and didn't, establish himself as at least a starter on this squad. So it's unfortunate. It's come to an end, but I think at the end it'll benefit both parties. And hey, I mean, they pay Shanahan to win games. Hey, he's done that in spite of Trey Lance at this point. So I wish the best for Trey, though. Hopefully he is successful wherever he goes, and it's no hard feelings to him. And I just wish his time would have lasted longer with the Niners, but hey, it didn't come to fruition. So, but I wish the best for Trey and obviously for the Niners.
Yeah, fellas, this one stung. It stung big time, right? Because we spent all that equity to go and get Lance, and the flashes of talent that we saw, really gave you optimism. We saw some of the playmaking skills, the off-schedule plays, the scrambling. Like he flashed some stuff in the limited playing time he had, and it just stings, man, because we never got to see it come to fruition. And we can second guess, how much opportunity he got. It felt like he didn't get, he should have got some starts that rookie year. But fellas, the pick, it just doesn't make sense. It didn't really make sense at the time, but as a fan, you kind of talk yourself into it. Like you can see the talent that Trey Lance has. So it's like I talked myself into it, but he was just so inexperienced coming out with a team that was just ready to win right now. So the pick from the beginning, fellas, really, it didn't make a ton of sense. And I'm looking around, who's going to be held accountable. I don't think anybody. and it's probably because the Niners are still a really good team, you know, and they're still Super Bowl contenders, even though they whiffed on this pick and, you know, spent all that capital. But what I will say, yeah, so it hurt. It stung like that. I was at a loss for words like the first day. Like I didn't make a video about it only because I was just at a loss for words. But
Oh yeah.
I think right now what I'm leaning towards and what's kind of picked me up is just watching how Brock's been playing. You know, I mean, Brock's been playing good, so I'm like, man, you know what? We got this kid, Brock Purdy. That's kind of making me feel a little bit better. But the Lance debacle, you know, is disappointing because I feel like the kid's talented and we never got to see fully what he's got. And then to be traded to the Cowboys, like our arch nemesis, rival. Like growing up, you're taught like, hey, Cowboys, we don't like them Cowboys. We do not like. It's just it was in the DNA of Niners fans, you know. And to trade him, it's risky, fellas. That being said, the 4th round pick I thought was better than what we were going to get. I was thinking like 5th or a 6th for some reason if we did move off him, but getting a 4, like. I mean, I know it's a 4, and you Rich was talking about the capital you spent to go get him, but I will say from that perspective, getting a 4 was better than I anticipated.
Yeah, man, it's a trip, man. It feels like so, you know, hopefully, man, you know, kind of lost for words about it. You know, what else do I say? It makes me think about the quarterback evaluation. You know, like you said, Baller. You know, it was a bad pick from the get-go, even though but it's still even kind of hard to evaluate that after 3 games. You know, it's like
I meant for this, like the situation.
yeah,
Just for
yeah,
the
yeah, definitely.
situation.
The project win now team. I completely understand that, man. But it's you know, it's just a very, very tricky situation. But it makes me feel like, man, Kyle Shanahan should never be allowed to pick any quarterbacks ever. You know, I mean, you know, let's pay Garoppolo the most money ever. You know, whoever it was, whether we know it's either John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan, except for Purdy. You know, John Lynch comes out and says, you know, it was Greasy and Slowick who were the main guys who were on Purdy. So that kind of makes me think like, you know, should like Shanahan just pick wide receivers? You know what I'm saying? You go down the list on guys who it feels like that Shanahan is handpicked, and it's not very good. I mean, yeah, he went up and got Ayuk. I believe he went up and got Ayuk. He got Debo. We got Low the truth in the house. Yee. You know, so it just makes me really, really wonder, you know, hopefully Kyle Shanahan starts deferring, you know, back in the day, Kyle Shanahan said, Brian Greasy is one of the smartest football men he's ever been around. He was one of the main reasons John Lynch just came out talking to Clark, you know, the old Pittsburgh player. I can't remember what podcast they got going, but he's on the you know, ESPN, NFL Network, and whatnot. But you know, he came out and said, you know, Brian Greasy was the main dude on Purdy. So that makes me think, you know, I'm hoping that Kyle Shanahan starts to kind of, you know, get advice from some of these older gentlemen that are around him. You know, hey, don't, you know, I don't want to get preachy, but hey, put your pride aside, soak up some wisdom, man. You know, he obviously got an eye. I know Purdy was there. A lot of us had Purdy on our mock drafts for that last pick, you know. So I mean, we got some pretty damn smart fans, you know. I'm sure Jay had Purdy on a mock draft. I don't know if you did, Baller.
Oh
You know,
yeah, I scouted him all through
had
college.
Purdy on
Man.
a
I
mock
knew about
draft.
Purdy.
Hey, a lot of us had Purdy on that last freaking pick. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of just, hey, you know, we got to throw a quarterback in there.
We got lucky. We got lucky. We're so lucky
man.
that Purdy dropped in our laps. Like we're so lucky. Shanahan, if he didn't draft Purdy, if he would have drafted a kicker in the 7th round or anyone else, we'd be totally screwed right now. Or maybe not.Maybe Trey Lance would be no, he wouldn't be. It'd be Darnold. Let's be real. It'd be Darnold.
We got Steve. We got freaking Samuel Jackson, young Darnold waiting in the backgrounds, bro. No, I'm kidding, but you know, yeah, man. It is what it is. Hey, man. So how y'all feeling about this Greasy thing? the Kyle Shanahan picking quarterbacks. I don't know if y'all want to touch on that or not, but I thought it was interesting because I liked the Greasy pick from the get-go. You know, just being a guy, you know, he comes from pedigree. Bob Greasy, Hall of Fame quarterback, the only undefeated season in NFL history. You know, I look at those things. I look at that pedigree. So I love the Brian Greasy from the initial standpoint. I don't care what he looks like, what he sounds like, how good he was in the NFL. And then for Kyle Shanahan to be like, man, this is one of the smartest guys I've ever been around. And for that to line up, him being a part of the Purdy pick, I'm like, okay, I like this, you know. So I thought it was lightweight significant. How y'all feeling about it?
Hey, first I gotta say, hot diggity dog to Blue True. Appreciate that super chat. Blue True says, I hope Trey has great success with the Cowboys. Sorry how this all went through. Appreciate your support, Blue True. No, but it makes sense. Just quickly in regards to Kyle Shanahan, I mean, this guy was a prolific wide receiver at the University of Texas. I hear they may be building a statue for his prowess on the football field. Clearly, he knows his wide receivers. That's why he did great with IU, with the Debo and all that good stuff. No, but I would be surprised if Kyle Shanahan really. I mean, does he do any scouting, especially in the later rounds of the draft? I'd be surprised. I hear Adam Peters does a lot of that in addition with John Lynch. I mean, I think the pick just fell into our laps. We were lucky. We got Mr. Irrelevant. Like I've looked over at Mr. Irrelevant players. Like usually they're either kickers or if they're position players, they rarely make any impact, let alone win 7 straight games, lead a team to the playoffs, and it's a starter next year. So this is like a 1 in a billion chance that the 49ers have been able to benefit from. So hopefully hopefully Purdy continues to get better. Hey, maybe John Lynch and Peter should continue to listen to Greasy because I'm sure they're going to probably draft another quarterback next year. But definitely happy that we got Purdy. That's for sure.
Yeah, Pat Greasy on the back. Way to go. You know, you got us. I think we can all agree Brock's, you know, he's pretty good. We'll see if he can be great. You know, I think that would be a huge leap. But yeah, Pat Greasy on the back, but tell him, hey, the job ain't done yet, man. We got to keep developing Brock. Okay, you're the QB coach. So let's get him to the next level. Okay, let's get him a top 10 quarterback type season. Okay, so yeah, Brian Greasy, you're doing good, but hey, don't slow up now. Keep the pedal to the metal. Let's develop these guys. You know, let's even Sam. Let's just get Sam ready to roll. We know what happens to this quarterback room. So, attaboy, Brian, but you know, you still got work to do.
Real talk. Well said. Straight to the point. Hey, Bosa, what the heck is going on with Bosa? It's becoming more of a concern. Hey, man, you know, I heard people talking about Joey Bosa back in the day, you know, just when he was a rookie holding out till week 4. And it just got my brain stirring up like, hey, don't mess with these Bosa brothers and their money. Like they are not playing. They know their value. Do not shortchange them. Don't play no games. That's just the way I feel about it. And I still continue to hold on to the backwards type thinking because I swear sometimes it's that backwards type thinking that it feels like on the surface it doesn't make sense. And I know we want him to be a well-oiled machine and injuries and this, that, and the other, but I'm still just holding on to that hope of, hey, keep gassing the tank. I know it sucks right now. We want to see it. You know, it's the instant gratification. We want it now, but you know, that's just where I am. You know, I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not, you know, I could dive into the drama, but I'm never worried. I am a little concerned, but I ain't ever worried about nothing. But at the same time, hey, how are y'all feeling about Bosa, man? Like, is this is this now? I want to retract just a little bit because sometimes through our seasons, we're 1 game off or 2 games off of something, you know. So if he does miss a couple games, that is one major concern. I will say that whole home field advantage is super, super, super important. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and hey, you never know in the NFL. We got it. Hey, let's even get into the playoffs. It feels like we already got it written in stone just because we have Super Bowl caliber roster that we're already in there like swimwear, but we got to do the work. And if Bosa misses a few, hey, we got some tough opponents, man. Hey, so, how are y'all feeling about Big Bosa?
I'm starting to get worried. I got to be honest. I've been trying to play all nonchalant, and I did put on my Nick Bosa shirt today. But, that being said, he's got to get here. We got to get this man in the building. And what I think is going on, fellas, I think this is about guaranteed money. I think Nick he might want his contract fully guaranteed, or at least for the majority. I think that's what this is coming down to. I don't think John Lynch or Parag or Jed, they're not low ball and Bosa, on the average annual value, per year. I guarantee you they're offering him above 33 mil a year. But Bosa, he wants that guaranteed money. And maybe Jed's a little bit hesitant. He has been dinged up a couple times to guarantee, hundreds of millions of dollars. It's just not how the 49ers typically do business. So this is just what I'm thinking is going on. I think that's the hang up. And I kept thinking, fellas, what if they wanted to play hardball? What if this really wanted to get ugly? Okay, let's talk about that for a second, because Bosa's under team control for, I believe, 2 years. And then after that, what do you have? You have the franchise tag. Okay, so do they want to play that kind of game where, hey, Bosa, you got to play this out? No, we're not guaranteeing 100% of your contract. It's not happening. Things get ugly. You're talking about the team control for the next couple years. Would he sit out multiple years? And then at that point, they could still franchise tag you. So I was just thinking how ugly things could get. Hopefully it doesn't go there. And I don't think it will, because this front office has been, John Lynch, despite potentially making mistakes. One thing I will say is these are professional individuals. So I don't think it would go that route, but things could get really ugly if they don't find a solution.
It's interesting to hear fans say that Bosa has the Niners by the balls. I see MBS in here. How you doing tonight, man? Thanks for tuning in. But usually in these contract negotiations, the team has all the leverage. If Bosa doesn't show up, I forget which week it is during the regular season, he won't get an accrued season. So that means the Niners would have another year of team control. There's no way Bosa wants to do that. We saw when Le'Veon Bell, sat out, that didn't really work out for him. So I think the Niners have the leverage in this situation. I think that's why Bosa hasn't signed yet. You look at the last big contract that was given to an edge rusher, TJ Watt. He had $80 million fully guaranteed. He is the highest paid edge rusher at $28 million per year. Clearly, as Eric said, Nick Bosa wants, 30 plus million per year. But I don't think, I know Nick Bosa, he's great. I know he had that one season he lost due to the ACL. And he deserves to be the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. But I saw something earlier today. Ian Rappaport was on the Pat McAfee show. And Ian Rappaport said, I don't get the sense that anything is imminent with Nick Bosa and the Niners. The 49ers offer is substantial, and I'm confident that the deal will make him the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. What else do you want, Bosa? If that's what's true, and Ian Rappaport is a reputable guy, very well respected in the industry. If that's true, what are you waiting on, Bosa? I had a crazy idea earlier today. How about we just trade Nick Bosa, man? Trade him to Tampa Bay. We know Nick Bosa is a Florida boy. Trade him for Tristan Wirfs. He could be the heir apparent to Trent Williams on the left side of the line. Everyone say the old line is trash except for the left side. So hey, and we got Drake Jackson. Did y'all see Drake Jackson in the preseason game yesterday, man? Batting down balls at the line.
Drake motherfucking Jackson, bro. Look at that.
Austin Bryant. Cleveland Farrell. We got dogs on the D line, man.
Yeah, we got Hargraves, Armstead. We got Javon Kinlaw. What?
Kinlaw, man. So real talk though. We need Bosa, but if that's true, what Ian Rappaport said, then what else does he want? Unless it's specific language in the contract, Obviously, we're not privy to that, but hey, man, Bosa signed on the dotted line. What you waiting on? You know, but at least there's no back and forth. There's no negativity between both parties. So it seems like both sides are interested, but maybe they're just trying to go down to the final wire. But John Lynch said, "Hey, man, week one guys in here at least 3 weeks prior to week one." And what if Bosa comes in and we know he'll be in shape, just like, what if he ain't ready? I mean,
what if Bosa? What if it's just something as simple like Bosa's like, dude, I want a month to my damn self. I want an extra long vacation. You know, hey, this could be one of his last contracts in his career. Hey, if I'm a dude that's playing my whole life since I'm freaking knee high to a grasshopper, I'm probably at some point in time going to be like, man, I want a cool solid month off to just go kick, because he's training, he's going to be training his whole entire life. So, he's staying in shape. But really think of that
actually,
angle.
I believe that. I believe
if you're
that,
the individual, if you're the individual and you've been working your ass off, bro, for 15 straight years, and you're like, you know what? I was just defensive player of the year. I'm about to get broke off the biggest ever.
I don't need to be there.
I'm gonna just chill. I'll chill because guess what? Once I do come through, I'm the highest paid. I'm about to be wreaking havoc. It would baller. You're the one that mentioned we want to get him primed and ready though for the injury, man. Sometimes you don't want to hop into action like that. So that would be, I don't want to play that devil's advocate on coulda, woulda, in worst case scenario, but that's the one concern for me is injury. And I'm sure there's some big stipulations within that contract when it comes to injury as well. Maybe games played. Who knows the fine print.
See, Bosa's not he wouldn't jive with that. That might be one of the reasons he's not here. He's not putting that in the contract.
Maybe it's those fine prints that are kind of
could be. But I like where you're going, and I want to add one more thing to it. Right now, his fines are being waived. Like the 49ers, they're not trying to fine him. So he hasn't missed out on any money. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat or fellas. I mean, from what I understand, they're waiving the fines. So he wouldn't it wouldn't start hitting his pocketbook until week one. And I don't think he wants to be missing game checks. So, Keltz, I like where you're going with that. He might just not want to be here. He's like, you know what, I'm cool in Florida. Yeah, I'll go there, a few days before the season starts, hopefully at this point. But I see where you're going with that.
If this was any other player of Bosa's stature that did what Bosa did, and it's just because he doesn't want to be there, we would be saying, oh, this guy isn't a leader. He's not a captain. He needs to be there with the team, cheering him on from the sideline. Why are we giving Bosa this pass? I don't get it. And people in the chat are saying, we're waiting on Chris Jones, but they play different positions. And if you look at Chris Jones' last contract, like it's not even like the salary, like Chris Jones max he gets per year is 19.5. Like Bosa's going to blow that out the water. So I don't think he's waiting on Chris Jones to sign. But yeah, why are we giving Bosa a pass? What's up with that, man?
Personally, Bosa is not one of my favorite players. I don't care if he's the best in the league. I got my personal favorites, and I'll tell you like this: Fred Warner is one of my absolute favorites. Brock Purdy is one of my absolute favorites. Ayuk, just those three guys, probably, and Hufanga. Those are probably, and that's just, I'll leave you guys to guess why those guys might be my favorite dudes right there, and we all got our flavor. We all got our preference. But yeah, he shouldn't. I think the excuse is it John and Kyle's fault? Is it Parag's fault? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's where I think the pass comes in. Is it really in Bosa's hands? So I think that's where the but that's a good point, Jay. Hey, if he is getting offered the biggest contract in history, his ass should be here ASAP. But it is what it is. I also, as a human, can understand the fact if he's like, hey, man, people keep on reaming on me for not producing in the playoffs. Maybe I'll take the gas off the pedal. Maybe this will, there's so many different layers, so many different ways to split it. There's never one right answer. But good point, Jay.
Hopefully in week 1 he'll be suited up and he'll be out there wrecking havoc. That's all we can really hope for. So
Real talk, real talk, real talk.
And for the record, I like me some Bosa. Just on field, Bosa. He's in my top 3 in terms of favorite Niners because he just plays the game so freaking hard. Like
I think
I love
I'm
guys who give
I'm talking
everything
more
they
people.
got.
People.
I know.
My bad.
I know where you're going. No, I know where you're going.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I push fair or not. I push some of that to the side just for what he does on the field.
I need to
And
take
anytime you
notes.
see that 97 lined up, it's like, okay, what's
Here
Nick
comes trouble.
gonna do on this one?
Hey,
So
man, there is no doubt about, man, I want to start using catastrophic type words. My head is starting to swirl on just upheaval and destruction and domination. And, I can't think, my brain is kind of farting right now, but oh yeah. Hey, Bosa. Hey, nah, man. Hey, I love you, Bosa. Cause hey, I know you're a monster, bro. I don't want you coming at me, pulling a Kinlaw on me or nothing like that. But yeah, man, is what it is. Hey, layers. There's so many layers, my man. Layers on top of layers. Hey, man, we got kicker problems. We got some
do?
real freaking problems, man. And oh my God, this man Wisnowski. we were talking Wisnowski last week. Hey, we know it's Moody and Zane Gonzalez and Robbie Gold, and oh my God, it's spinning. What are we do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, faithful? Will we even have a kicker on come week 1, September 10th? Hey, y'all already know I'm always thinking outside the box. I'm over here like, hey, I got a solution. Score freaking touchdowns.
right.
Shanahan,
2-point
go for
conversion.
it. Go for it on 4th and 2, Shanahan. If you're if you're 40 yards and in, go for it on 4th and 2. F that field goal, bro. It's time to dominate. Who cares if the score is 24-23 and we're trying to keep this thing close for viewers to keep watching? That's the way I'm viewing it. If it might come off lightweight delusional, just like my man Jay in the Bay said, it's a damn business. And I just hope we just freaking dominate this year and there's no excuses. That's my feelings about the kickers. I'll let you go, Eric. How you feeling about? And my God, Wisnowski, you would think with the punting, I mean, he's having trouble even punting, but you would think he'd be able to kick a ball off a tee. He'd be able to at least come close to the field goal. Like, I mean, I have to take back what I said last week. If we had to re-sign or Wisnowski, hey, he needs to start wishing. He might even need to start praying because Wisnowski, it's not good, man. I know you're not a kicker. You're a punter, but still, bro, that's just how I feel about it. How you feeling, E?
yeah. Last week we got on him because he was punting balls out of bounds. That being said, I mean, it's a legitimate concern. We know the 49ers are working out a couple of kickers because they need somebody week 1. And at this point of the year, to already have that uncertainty at the kicker position, you spent a 3rd-round pick, you even traded for a guy, and both of them are banged up. So that is not good. Hopefully these guys, they work out, can get the job done for a couple weeks. I don't know if we have some names. I know one is Vizcaino, and then we brought in another kicker who was like kicking in the XFL or one of these other leagues here. His last time he was kicking balls. So it is a legitimate concern. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Russolino. It's a legitimate concern, fellas. Hopefully Moody is going to heal up quickly because I think they're going to give him the opportunity, the first crack at this job. And I'm legitimately concerned.
Y'all remember who I wanted, right? At that spot? Man, freaking Daywan Jones is over there.
The big boy.
The big tackle.
Boy is freaking, from reports that I've read, Daywan Jones having one of the most dominant preseasons. I'm over here. Hey, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It happens every draft.
I know.
But
Keltz,
just
I'm
like,
with you.
God.
I wish they would kind of expand their thought process because these guys, they don't like these super big hulking tackles for whatever. Maybe they can't get out and get to certain blocks in the zone scheme. That's why they got rid of Trent Brown. Remember, they had 1 year with Trent Brown at right tackle, and Trent Brown's a good player. He was pretty good for the Patriots when he's playing. And
better than McGlinchey.
Kyle had him for a year, and then they got rid of him, and then they drafted McGlinchey. So there's something about they don't like these overly big hulking tackles for whatever reason. But I'm with you. Why not kind of expand your thought process and maybe look at bringing a guy? Because like you said, he's been playing good ball.
Adaptability. I think I brought that up a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Hey, Shanahan, just sprinkle just a little bit of adaptability." But yeah, man, I think he's coming around though. Just even hearing that stuff about Trey, even though some could say, "Hey, man, it sounds good. It sounds nice. What are you supposed to say?" But hey, is what it is. How you feeling, Jay, about the kicker
I'm not
situation?
concerned at all. I'm not concerned at all. I know Zane Gonzalez, he injured his calf in the pregame warm up versus the Chargers. What's his face? Moody's already out with the quad. But as people say on social media, man, you can find a kicker anywhere. As Eric alluded to, the Niners are already working out 2 kickers. So I'm not really concerned. I just hope my more concern would be long term. Hopefully Moody is the answer for the next decade to 15 years. To be our kicker. And I know people are saying, well, just sign Robbie Gould. Just sign Robbie Gould. Well, the 49ers decided to move on from Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould, no doubt, Hall of Fame caliber kicker, never missed a kick in the playoffs. He deserves all the accolades, all the money that he can get, but he was making $4.5 million last year, and the Niners clearly don't want to do that. So they're like, hey, let's cut that 75-80% of that, and let's draft a kicker who's making under $1 million. And that's what they did. And I don't think Gould's going to give the Niners a hometown discount. He's not going to say, hey, I'll come in for $1 million. I don't think he's going to do that. What's good, Niner Game Podcast? What's good? Yeah, so they're not going to sign Robbie Gould. I don't know what the current cap space of the Niners is. I don't know if they just don't want to allocate those funds to a kicker. I just think their actions prove that by drafting a kicker in the 3rd round. But no, I'm not concerned. They got 2 guys kicking. If Gonzalez or Moody aren't ready week 1, they'll just sign a kicker, and hey, we hope for the best. And hey, if it comes down to it, if you're gonna blame someone, blame Shanahan, because every time there's injuries on this team in the preseason and training camp, you always blame him. So go ahead and blame him for the kickers too.
Karma, man. Somehow, some way.
But if we lose to Pittsburgh by 3 points, I think that's not a kicker problem to me. I think we're clearly better than Pittsburgh. We should be able to beat them.
Hey.
That field goal shouldn't matter to me. I know it's week 1, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers, they got Watt. But I think we play our game. We should be able to win that game by more than 3 points.
Jump in there. Can I jump in there while we're on that Steelers topic? Because
absolutely,
I got some legitimate concerns, and we might get to concerns here pretty soon. But I got some legitimate concern regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, this dude can run. And what just happened on Friday on this game? The Chargers quarterback was running all over us, doing the read option. This Niner defense, and I had to leave
the game early. Go ahead.
I wouldn't doubt you. But the defense has been giving up a ton of rushing yards. This was the best run defense in football last year, holding teams to under 80 yards a game. But through 3 preseason games, we gave up 120 on the ground to the Raiders, 165 on the ground to the Broncos, and then the Chargers ran for 267 on us. And part of that was with the quarterback doing, the read option. Well, let me tell you something. Kenny Pickett, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, this guy can run, fellas. I don't know if you've been keeping tabs on Pickett, but he's had a really strong preseason. And, this rush defense, I know there was backups playing, but this rush defense was awful in the preseason. So
your concerns are legit, Eric, for sure. We've definitely struggled with mobile quarterbacks, but it don't matter because we got Brock Purdy. We got BP, baby. So we good. He gonna be scoring 30, 35 points a game. So we good, man. We good.
Man, we're good. It's all to the good in the hood. Real talk. Did y'all? Okay, just real quick. Y'all seen when Warner came in on the sack? Hey, I love that. Let me see some freaking Fred Warner blitzes. Wilkes, I don't know if you just gave us a sneak peek because we got to remember that this is our 2nd and 3rd unit. But I do know what you were saying, Baller, about even in the regular season in the past. But freaking Fred Warner, when he did the Bosa and the money thing, I was like
Pay the
really
man.
trying to interpret that. Is he saying pay the man, or hey man, I'll get a sack even though you're not here. You supposed to be a leader. You ain't. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know.
mm.
Really watch the way he was aggressed. Like I almost took that as a way, well, like, yeah, I'll get sacks if you ain't here. Watch how Wilkes is gonna blitz me. You don't want to come here? Watch. Take that money, bro. Like I don't know. I felt a little. You could split that either way.
I thought he was
One
paying
person
homage to Bosa. To me personally,
Yeah.
when I first saw it, like
that too.
because only Bosa does that. So to see him do that, I was like, oh snap! But
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well,
Hey.
at least I'm sure that teammates understand. They're never going to count another man's money. Like that's what teammates and the professionals they don't do. But I'm sure they wish he was there. But I think if he's there week one, he's producing. I think we all forget about it personally.
Hey, what was the longest someone has like because I know they go deep into the contracts. Like didn't it happen with pretty much all our guys? Kittle, Warner,
Yeah.
Debo,
This is the latest. This is the latest.
the latest.
Yeah.
This is the latest. But
Yeah.
So
We're almost in
and
September.
Warner is the voice in my opinion, he's the voice and the leader of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it comes to leadership qualities, like you were talking about a little bit, Jay in the Bay, like, hey, how come we're not holding, Bosa lightweight accountable? How we would be holding other it just when I watched it a few times, the celebration, I was like, I wonder if that's frustration or if that's homage. It was just something little, but hey, we will never freaking know. I do want to say to my man Dion, because I think he looks for it sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. If that blew your ears out, my bad, man. I think I blew my own ears out on that one. But anyways, man.
Keltz, I wanted to piggyback off of something you said about, Fred Warner's exotic blitz. I thought throughout that game on Friday against the Chargers, Steve Wilkes was sending heat. Like he was dialing it up on third down. And I'm wondering if that's kind of a precursor, something we're going to see. Because I felt like D'Amico and even Sala, like they mixed in a blitz, but it was pretty rare. Those guys like to rely on that 4-man pass rush. But Wilkes, man, in that game, they might have been working on stuff too, because that's what you do in the preseason. They might have been trying to get those blitz angles right and the stunts. Like Fred Warner came on that stunt. Oh, it was just perfect execution, stunting, getting the sack. So something to monitor because Steve Wilkes was sending the heat on Friday.
Real talk. Hey, was there anything that stood out to y'all in the game? Like, I mean, for me, we're going to be getting up out of here early to the audience, man. We got another show. We're doing a draft live, so we're going to be dipping out early. But just to touch on quick, hey, I thought Purdy looked hella smooth, it feels like every time you see Purdy, it's the same thing. And I appreciate that. I'm all good with that. He's quick-footed. I think it's very, very underrated what he does with his feet. And having shorter legs and shorter arms and being able to be quick it's not a huge, long windup to get to. I know it's not the prototypical quarterback. I know he ain't going to go 50 yards and throw bombs, but if he could hit a 35 here and there, that might be enough, man. And I don't even want to get into all the intricates on what could and what should be and this, that, and the other. I'm just talking about the positives of what I see from Purdy. He is a straight leader. He's fearless. He's contagiously confident. I mean, we all felt it the minute he got on the field last year. And every time I see and watch Purdy, he's elusive. He's the same dude, the same freaking dude. You can see why the organization put the faith in him. And he's a big time man of faith, and he don't play no games just because he is that. Like Trent Williams said, you would think he was a straight up asshole, if you didn't know him, because he's that locked in and you see it translate on the field. And I think it's just a joy, man. I hope he is the real deal when it comes to eye test and stats, because he gives me that feeling like he is, man. I'm not over here like, oh, Jimmy G 2.0. Like, nah, man, there's a big difference. Jimmy, in my opinion, wasn't a grinder in the offseason. This dude Purdy wants to be great, and he's putting in, that's just what I think. That's what I think. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing so far. Just any analysis I could come up with it. Purdy, Brock all day and Purdy all night, like my man Jay said.
Hey, I gotta admit that the second half of the game was a snooze fest for me. This
talk.
49ers run defense, as Eric mentioned, it may be a work in progress throughout the season. The first half, there were penalties galore. I think we had 5 penalties, 45 yards in the first half. That's not going to get it done. Nick Zakel, I mean, oh my goodness. That's like every game. Unfortunately, with offensive linemen, they could have 20 snaps. 18 could be great, but then they could have 2 where they cause a penalty, and that's all you kind of remember. So that's definitely something he's going to have to work on. I echo your sentiments about Brock. He looked like Brock. He looked good. I also like what I saw from JP Mason. He had some good runs in the first half. He caught a little pass out the backfield. He ran a little Texas route. He was good in pass blocking situations. I think he blocked someone on 3rd and 2, and the other team blitzed. But then he had the fumble at the goal line. So it's like, But I like what I saw. But we definitely got some things to work on. And week 1 can't come any faster. That's for sure.
Jay, we're on the same page because, 2 of the names I wanted to touch on that stood out to me. Keltz also mentioned Brock Purdy. I thought Brock was exceptional. Just hitting Juszczyk, Debo, BA, Mason. Thought he was dialed in, kind of carving up that defense early on in the game. And you said it, Jay. Jordan Mason, I thought looked phenomenal despite the fumble, as you added, because you can't cough it up down there at the goal line, especially like now. I was thinking maybe Mason could steal some goal line, but now they might just be rocking with CMC. It might just be giving CMC the rock at the goal line. But Mason, I really loved what I saw from him. I thought he was squeezing through like some tight gaps, and I loved the vision and how he was hitting the hole with force and acceleration. So I liked what I saw from JP Mason.
Hey, fellas, I haven't watched the all 22. I've watched some of the all 22, but my eyes have not been locked on the offensive line. Uh, I guess if you didn't hear anything about the offensive line, the first unit, I did see a couple of clips from McKivitz, which I liked. Hey man, if I haven't heard a whole bunch of horrible news, I'm pretty sure they held their ground pretty well. I know it's a quick screen here, quick screen there, quick slant there. Hey, but that's West Coast. That's the West Coast offense. All we need is a couple of hey man, I just love what I'm seeing so far. This new NFL, these defenders, they're gonna get there quicker and quicker and quicker. And Brock is quick with his feet, quick with his reads, and quick with his release, and it's smooth. So maybe we got something brewing exactly how Kyle wants it. Because y'all know me, and we all wanted to see Trey do some spectacular things, and like Jay said, it didn't come to fruition. It is what it is. And like I said in the beginning of the show too, if y'all didn't catch it, man, I ain't gonna let some of this drama steal my joy, man. I got enough going on in my life to be upset. So I'm not gonna come up on this show and just, you know what I'm saying? Initially, after a while, I was hella pissed, but I'm just not right now, man. It's like, hey, man, I ain't gonna let these Niners pull me out of my character. So that's just me. That's the way I'm going about it. I think we're about to end this thing, but we're about to restart on a fantasy draft Yahoo. And man, we got a few guys that's hopping on this with us. We got Beto from Niners Sickness Podcast.
Beto's got first pick, fellas.
Does he? You son of, is that a good thing? Hey, I want number 7. I need number 7. I heard that was a good pick.
It's Beto. I got the second pick. Then we got Amin, Mariah, Jay. We got to hop in there so we can check it out.
They put me.
Don't go nowhere. We're restarting another stream, so make sure you check back in wherever you're watching. We're going to be live with a fantasy football draft, bunch of content creators, and it's about to start real soon.
Hey, this rookie season for me and Jay in the Bay, so y'all get to witness. If y'all are experts, man, hey, if you got my number or private chat me, hey, do something, help a brother out. Hey, but hey, we got the chain on the line. We brought the Niner freaking chain back, man. Maybe we'll customize it, and I don't know, but it's dope regardless, man. I already photoshopped myself with it on because I'm coming in hot like a fajita. you know, living my life.
That's
through a
risky. That's
speaker.
risky.
Woo!
It's risky. All right.
Hey,
So let's catch y'all soon. See you in a few.
Hey, we're up out of here. Hey, go into the chat though. Go to the description. Go like and subscribe to everybody's channel. You hit them likes, it helps the channel out. More people view it. All that good stuff. Y'all know what it is, the algorithms and whatnot. Peace. Yeah.
See you